Hi, greetings. It is Saturday, June. My God, it's Saturday. No, it's Saturday, June 29th. Tomorrow is Sunday, June 30th. And I apologize in the delay for responding, but I wanted to respond to someone who goes by the handle God is Good here on this channel. So the topic of this video was colonoscopies. Someone wanted to know whether or not Bernardo got colonoscopies, but I want to put this in context as always. Um, Bernardo ate an enormous amount of fiber in the form of fruits, fresh fruits, I should say, and also green vegetables. And if you again, refer back to his book, Age Less, Live More, Achieving Health and Vitality 107 years and beyond, it becomes apparent that everything that he is doing, everything that he is eating, the exercise that he is taking, the amount of pure water that he is drinking, again, the fresh fruits and the green vegetables that he is consuming, all play a role, like a symphony in keeping his liver and his colon clean. So I am going to say that whether Bernardo got a colonoscopy or not doesn't mean that you should not get a colonoscopy, because there are very few people that are on Bernardo's level. Just being honest, just being truthful. That's what's so amazing about him, is that he was able to be consistent, with this kind of practice for for a century, for literally a century. Most of us will do something that's good for us for a little while, and then we'll get distracted, and then we'll fall off, and then then eventually when we don't start feeling good, then we'll remember, and then we'll go, oh yeah, and then we'll come back to doing that. But for Bernardo, this lifestyle of his, because he had such a strong bond with his father, and really imbibed these teachings, this was really what his life revolved around. Of course, he was a family man, he was a professional man, he was a chef, he was a massage therapist, he was a podiatrist, he did reflexology, he knew how to do hair and makeup also, which he kind of did on a dare. He knew how to do a lot of self-healing techniques. But all of that really grew out of his core foundational principle, from the lifestyle that was really impressed upon his heart as a child. So this is a long way of saying, I don't remember my grandfather ever getting a colonoscopy. This is not to say that he never did. After all, when I was born in 1963, he was already 62 years old, and I was a little bit too young to have a conversation with him about this type of thing. But it's not really anything that came up into our conversation, because he didn't have a problem passing stool. Now, I will say that my name is Erica. If you don't know me, Bricky Mindset TV, and that I am the oldest grandchild of Bernardo Lapallo. I was born April 8th, 1963, and there you go. So it is now 2024. But at any rate, my point is, what was my point? My point is that we can follow in someone's footsteps, but we still need to be ourselves. Everyone is an individual. Everyone has their own particular body chemistry. Everyone has their own particular health history. And while we can emulate, the good habits of others, we still have to remember that we are an individual, and that we have to do us. And my grandfather would say that all the time to people. He would suggest, try this or try that. I think you might like it, but there would also be But if it doesn't agree with you, then don't do it. He even said to me one time, I wanted to be like my father, but I wasn't my father. I was me. I still had to do me, although I had this great guidance and this great wisdom. Okay, so cut to the chase. I do a colonoscopy like, once a year because there's different things that I do because it's good to check in and get regular checkups for things. My grandfather got regular checkups for things. It's not that he didn't do that, he wasn't proud in that way. If he felt that anything was, maybe a little off or whatever, he would look into it right away. That was the other thing about him, is that he did not procrastinate when it came to his health. He would not procrastinate when it came to his health. He would address that situation immediately. By contrast, my dad, who didn't have that kind of upbringing, boy, if my dad, like felt bad or if there was something wrong, he would put that off because he had like a fear of doctors, right? So there was my grandfather, who was a son of a doctor, right, who was precocious, and he would question his father about what he was doing when he was making house calls, putting an onion and a cabbage in his medicine bag, right, at the beginning of the 1900s, saying, is that food? Are these people hungry that you're going to see? And his father would just sort of chuckle and say, no, this is medicine, right? Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So it's a very, very, very different mindset. Again, I just kind of want to circle back and say, yes, it's important to eat fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, green vegetables, drink enough water, keep your circulation going, get plenty of exercise, but it's also important to go get regular checkups on a regular basis. I get regular checkups on a regular basis. Every time I go to the doctor, they say, why are you here? And I say, well, there's nothing wrong as far as I know, but I'm here to get a regular checkup, right? I'm here to get I'm here for my OBGYN, I'm here for my mammogram, I'm here for my blood test, I'm, here for, just kind of a general checkup, because those are things that you should do. So I really want to take this idea, that somehow Bernardo was like superhuman, and just let you know that he was a very grounded person. He was very down to earth. He was disciplined. He did the same thing every day for a century. He was very stubborn on that. He was very fixed on that. He always made his health his first priority, and you should too. If you actually want to have a long and healthy life, as to the time that is allotted to you, because tomorrow is not promised. Ultimately, none of us know, really when we're going. But if you want to have an active life and be able to use all your faculties and have a quality life, so you can spend quality time with yourself, with your loved ones, with your community, with the things that you care about, that should always be in the forefront of your mind. And I'm simply repeating what my grandfather said. If you go through this channel, there's a video of him where he's giving encouragement, and he says, always remember this, always make health your first priority. He said, it may be a little hard for you in the beginning, but you can do it. You can do it. All right, so let's see what the comments are. Curse is everything you said, because I was just here, I just came in. Hi, Jamie. Heureux Martyr, thank you for being here. Perky Mindset, thank you. Let's see, John Pork. Let me see. I don't know. There's some people here. All right, did Bernardo have any advice on marriage relationships? Any advice on marriage relationships? No. I mean, I wouldn't really say that. Basically, he believed that once you're married, you should stay married. But that being said, sometimes you're in a situation where you have to part ways with someone. If you're in an abusive relationship, you definitely shouldn't stay in it. If you're in a relationship where someone is verbally abusing you, emotionally abusing you, physically abusing you, manipulating you, get out. but at the same token, he tried to be a good husband. That said, my grandfather was married 3 times. His first wife died in childbirth. His second wife, eventually they divorced, and Uh, with Georgette, he was with her for 50 years. It wasn't that there weren't ups and downs in those relationships. There are. But, you know, if you are with someone and you think you two can make it, then you should be faithful to each other. You should be supportive of each other. You should care about each other. You should be patient with each other. You should listen to each other. I mean, I think that's really the secret of good relationships. That being said, you know, you shouldn't be with someone who's going to try and tear you down, right? That's just common sense. So, no, my grandfather did not write a book on relationships. You know, he wrote a book on health. But that being said, I think that if you follow the principles of it, you know, meditation, introspection, spirituality, taking care of yourself, you know, if someone is trying to take that away from you, you're probably going to recognize it a lot faster than someone who isn't taking care of themselves, because he used to say, you know, self-preservation is the first principle of nature. Self-preservation. All right, so that's all I got to say about that. Okay, let me see. Thank you very much for the compliments. Okay, so that's what I have to say about colonoscopies and all of that. Again, I don't remember my grandfather getting any of that, but then again, like I said, you know, that's not to say that he didn't, because of course he had lived a long time before I showed up on the scene in his life, you know, as an infant, and then also till much later, you know, when I started asking him different questions. And probably when I was asking him questions, you know, this whole thing about colon cancer wasn't really top of mind concern like it is today in America. But notice, my grandfather didn't eat red meat. He didn't eat pork. He didn't eat chicken. He didn't consume eggs. He didn't eat those things that are known to clog up your colon and that are very hard to digest and very hard to remove. He wasn't drinking soda pop. He wasn't drinking fast food. He wasn't eating candies. He wasn't eating, consuming. He just wasn't consuming the type of things that would clog you up. But that is a trend and a problem today. And it's not to say that someone could be very careful and then also find themselves, in a situation. So prevention is the best medicine. He says that in his books too. Prevention is the best medicine. So I would say be proactive, get your regular checkups, make sure you're doing all those things you need to do on a regular basis. But, if there's a health situation that comes up, then, take care of it immediately. Don't be scared. Just address it immediately, because the body, if you give it the support that it needs, it will heal itself. But you have to give it the support it needs, right? You can't ignore that. Love from India. Okay, thank you, APK1. Very nice. All right, so I'm wishing you all a great rest of your weekend, and, live your life. Okay, bye-bye now.